Happy holidays, boys and girls. What's up? Welcome into a Week 16 edition of our NFL live stream here on the Betting Pros YouTube channel. That is Pat Fitzmaurice. I am Matt Perrault. Thank you for being here. We got a bunch of games, even though 3 games, Thursday, Saturday, already off the board. But Pat, how are you? I have to ask, are you okay? I know you bet the Bears. So did I. The Packers were the better team yesterday, right? I mean, I know we both cashed a ticket on it, but that had to be, just from a Packer fan perspective, a little frustrating yesterday, no?
More than a little when you have a 99.5% chance, according to the algorithms, to win and can't field an onside kick. And yeah, I mean, we were wrong in thinking that the Bears were the better play, but we still cashed. And sometimes it works out that way, but sometimes you're right about things and they don't work out. And I know you had that happen to you in the college side of things.
Yeah, that's how I feel about A&M. You know, I thought A&M was the better team yesterday, had better talent than Miami, but when a quarterback can't hit the broadside of a barn, you got a problem throwing picks, and just, you know, shows you how in football, one position, the quarterback position, can derail everything. So that was my frustration with Miami and A&M losing 2 bets on that game, with Miami defeating Texas A&M in College Station. But, you know, there's a lot of things that roll into today and a lot of interesting games today. This is a gambler's day, okay? I know for football fans, they're going to scan the board and go, my God, really? But there are some games, Jets, Saints, for instance, that you can kind of sink your teeth into, and the professionals are absolutely doing that. They're betting it heavily here today. So that's what we do. We break down every game, we talk about it, and we can spend maybe a little extra time today because it's a smaller slate than what we normally would see on a Sunday. But Buffalo and Cleveland is the game we're going to start with, Pat, and that number is up to 10.5. there's money coming in on the over because the weather in Cleveland is not a worry. And that had people it's December in Cleveland. They thought, okay, maybe we bet the under, but we're seeing money on the over. We're up to 41.5 at certain books. Here in Vegas, we're at 41 and climbing here. But does Josh Allen go on the road and cover a double-digit spread against Cleveland today?
I think he does, Matt. I like the Bills here. The Browns' offensive line is just torn to ribbons right now. Center Ethan Posick is out. Tackle Jack Conklin is out. 3 or 4 other linemen were on the injury report this week, but are going to play through it. I think pretty much every guard on the Cleveland roster is banged up. The Bills' run defense is their Achilles heel, but Quinshon Judkins has averaged under 2 yards per carry the last 2 weeks. And that was against the Titans and Bears. So it's not like he's doing it against the top run defenses in the league. And speaking of run defenses, the Browns has completely fallen apart. DeAndre Swift had 98 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns against them last week. The week before, it was Tony Pollard going for 161 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns against them. And now they have to face the Bills when James Cook is on pace for over 2,000 yards from scrimmage and just running much better defenses than this over every week. Just the Bills have been steamrolling people with the running game. So I don't think the Bills mess around on this one. I think they cover this one pretty easily.
2 trends that you can either fade or follow. One, Josh Allen against good defenses. And we can argue about the Browns defense, but on paper, they're averaging less than 20 points per game. When Josh Allen faces a defense that allows less than 20 points per game, he is 28-9-1 against the spread. So that's not a bad trend to follow. On the flip side, however, this season, big home dogs of 7 points or more, which this is at 10.5, we are 11-6 ATS. And since 2020, we're 81-52-3 ATS. So it is a lot of chalk. It's a big number to put down and say you want to take the Bills minus 10.5. But I think you're right. I think because of the lack of offense for Cleveland, I just don't think they keep up. I mean, I just don't think they score here to really make it a situation where you're like, okay, Shedeur Sanders played his worst game as a pro, and now he's going to turn around and the Bills are going to take that game film and go, oh, yeah, we're not going to follow that. Like, of course they're going to follow what's happened here. So I like Buffalo as well. I'll lay the 10.5, but I'm not doing it. It's too big. The next game, though, I have 2 bets on, and I think you can kind of get heavily involved in the Jets and the Saints. I know you're involved with it as well. When we talked on Tuesday, this number opened from 2.5 to 4, and I thought this is one of my plays was take the Saints minus 4. Since we've talked, the number has exploded. We're all the way up to 7.5, and I think by the time this game kicks off in the next hour, we're going to see some books test 7 to see if they can get some buyback because the professionals have no appetite for Brady Cook and the Jets. The total, I bet the under last night. It has now come down to 40 or 39.5 here for the Jets and the Saints. Tyler Shuck's been an absolute under machine, 5-1 so far, 2-0 at home in his career. And look, the Jets offense is not going to do anything here today. I like the Saints, but would you lay the 6.5 points, Pat?
Yeah, I'm going to lay the points and go the other way here, actually.
You like the Jets?
I do like the Jets.
Ooh.
Oh, sorry. Laying the points. My mistake. No, I like the Saints. I like.
Okay, I thought you liked the. I thought you liked the Saints.
No. My bad. I misspoke. Yeah, I mean, and I'm kicking myself for not getting this cheaper early in the week. Still got it under a touchdown, but the Jets. It seems like the Jets defense has quit on Aaron Glenn.
Yeah,
like they've given up 82 points and almost 800 yards of offense over their last 2 games, and that was to the Dolphins and Jaguars. It wasn't like this was to any of the elite offenses. I know the Jaguars have been playing well, but the Dolphins and the Saints don't really have a high-powered offense, but Tyler Shuck has been competent, bordering on good over the last month. And, the Saints have won 2 straight games. They've given up an average of 17.8 points over their last 5. So this defense is actually playing pretty well. No opponent has scored more than 24 points against them over that stretch, and I don't think Brady Cook is going to be the guy who snaps that streak and puts up a lot of points on them.
No. And look, if you had told me like, Matt, what's the game that you're going to be the most committed in? I didn't think it'd be Saints Jets, but I'm the most committed. This is the game that I'm going to be, this is the big screen game, right? If you have multiple screens, like what's the game on the main screen in the early window for me, it's Saints Jets because I have the under, I have -4, and I am also going to tease the Saints down from 6.5. I'm going to take them down to a half a point here. So if the Jets somehow miraculously win this football game, I'm in deep trouble. So this is, I don't believe in the Jets. Firing Steve Wilkes, I'm hoping that fires up the defense a little bit here and causes them to actually play. But this defense has 3 turnovers all year. They have 0 interceptions all year. They just cannot. I mean, from an over perspective, you're like, okay, do the Jets score? Well, I don't think so because this defense has been allowing under 200 yards passing. So, and it's Brady Cook. So we're not going to see a passing game out of Brady Cook, and then a running game that the Jets really don't have. So I don't think the Jets are going to score. And I think the Saints will score enough. I think this is going to be like a 17-3 football game. It's going to be really boring. And yet I think it's a chance to take the Saints and to ride what they're doing because they're playing hard. Tyler Shuck might win the offensive rookie of the year. Like that's crazy, but he may win it. Like he entered the year with no shot. He's down to 6-1, 5-1 at certain books to win the offensive rookie of the year. So he's playing for something. I remember talking to Debro about this in August, and he's still wishy-washy on Tyler Shuck long-term, but he was like, okay, you've drafted this guy who's really old. You have to play him now. Like you can't wait for this guy. You got to play him because if you have something with him, well, then that's going to set you up for the next couple of years with a rookie head coach. So I like New Orleans here today against the Jets, and maybe I'm a little bit too committed to this football game, but I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah, and just to your point about the whole Tyler Shuck thing, these two teams are sort of playing for draft position in a way, but like the players don't really care about that thing. So if the Jets don't win this, they're not winning another game because their last 2 games are against the Bills and the Patriots, right? So this is their last chance to get a win. Now, I don't think the players care about that, but I think the players have sort of lost any spark of morale they've had. And I don't know if, Steve Wilkes was the problem that's going to fire up the defense that he's gone because this defense just looks dead at this point.
Well,
and they gave up Sauce Gardner
right.
and Quentin Williams. So, it's not like they're doing it with a wrecking crew of personnel.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's a bad defense.
It's hard to crack the players when you're like, our best cornerback, well, you shipped him to Indianapolis. Our best defensive lineman, well, you sent him to Dallas. So what do you want? Like this is our fault. How is this our fault? Type of situation. So, and then if I'm Steve Wilkes, I walk out of there going like, well, what do you expect was going to happen with what you guys did? Of course we were going to be bad. You guys gave up on the season. So yeah, this is one of those games where if you don't have money on it, I don't know why you're watching it, but I think if you do have money on it, it's one of those off-market games. I think you can make some cash. The Vikings and the Giants equally said, the Giants are trying their hardest to get the number 1 pick in the draft. As of right now, if the Giants lose out, the Giants will be owners of the number 1 pick. That's based on their record being easier than anybody else's and then winning 2 football games. If they win today, it could cost them the number 1 pick in the draft. They're at home. I don't think Jackson Dart cares, nor do I think he wants to be replaced by Mendoza or by anybody else coming out of the draft. The kid, the Dante Moore last night looked incredible for Oregon. So he made a statement there about maybe he'll be the first pick in the draft if he comes out. What do you make of this game here with the Vikings and the Giants? Road favorite, Minnesota.
Yeah, the Giants aren't going to draft a quarterback, but they could certainly get quite a haul for trading out of that number 1 pick. So worth their while. Yeah. So I don't feel great about taking the Vikings as a road favorite, Matt, but the Vikings have not given up a touchdown pass since November 9th. Wow. 5 straight games without giving up a touchdown pass. They've been shutting down opposing passing games, and this Giants defense is just terrible. I know JJ McCarthy can be mistake prone, but he's played pretty well the last 2 weeks. And maybe they can get home with the pass rush against him. And that would be the one way to disrupt him and the Vikings offense. The Vikings offense hasn't been a juggernaut, but they're going to be able to run on this Giants defense because everyone runs on the Giants. And I think Jackson Dart is going to be able to make, excuse me, JJ McCarthy is going to be able to make enough plays through the air, maybe get Justin Jefferson going. So I do kind of like the Vikings here. I haven't bet it yet, but I probably will before we get to kickoff.
So I've already cashed my under 5.5 wins for the Giants, right? Nothing would make me happier than for the Giants to win this game today. I want to see every Giant fan cry. I want to see every Giant fan run to Twitter and just MF everyone in the organization saying, we told you to lose these games. Because if you look at the trends for the Vikings, teams that played on the road against Dallas the next week, they're 0-6 ATS. For the Vikings, when they've played outdoors in December or later, they are 6-11-1 against the spread. They're a dome team. And the Vikings, look, JJ McCarthy, it's like this big roller coaster ride. He played so well last week. Do we think he does it again? I could see it being a bad week for JJ. I could see it being the down part of it. And all of a sudden the Giants find their way to a win today and they blow the first pick against the Vikings. I don't know. I'm not betting it, but if I did bet it, I'd take the Vikings. I would take the Giants or the over in the game.
Yeah, that's just because of the motivation. Well, the lack of motivation on the Giants. I mean, that's the big thing. But the outdoor thing, that's it, Matt. Do you want to take the Vikings? They play in Minnesota, but they are a dome team and have been for a while. And we've seen bad results when they take it on the road in December. And I know the weather isn't that bad out east. I think it's supposed to be like mid 40s, maybe a little breezy for this game. But yeah, I think I'm just going to stay away from this one.
Yeah, I want no part of this game whatsoever. But I'm cheering for the Giants. Like, let's go New York, beat the Vikings, blow the one pick. It would be so typical Giants to blow this and win today against the Vikings. And look at Jackson Dart, as we said at the top. Jackson Dart has no interest in helping the Giants get a bad pick, get the first pick. Right. He's no interest in helping this team find his replacement if they were to do so, because I've seen people in New York already say, you trade Jackson Dart and you take Mendoza, you take Moore, you take somebody else because, well, Jackson Dart's going to get hurt consistently. He's not going to stay healthy. He's talented, but upstairs he doesn't slide. And so the noggin's going to be a problem with him. Don't, put your whole franchise on his back. Go find somebody else. I'm sure he hears that. So he wants to go and play. And at home, Jackson Dart's been a decent quarterback. The 2 games they've won have been at home. So that's what I'm looking for coming up here today. Let's go to Tampa Bay in Carolina. My gosh, Baker as a road favorite. He has never lost in his career to Carolina, Pat. He's 5-0 against the Panthers. This number, 3 or 2.5, depending on what book you're looking at. Hard Rock Bet just recently went to 2.5 minus 120. There is a lot of groupthink going on here with the Panthers at +3. I got to be honest, though, I can't hate on it. I think it's the right side. I'm not sure the Bucs go down there and win. Do you?
No. That Baker trend against the Panthers is interesting, but the other trends sort of point to the Panthers. Buccaneers are 1-5 in their last 6 games and 0-6 against the spread. And, the Panthers, they're coming off a disappointing loss to the Saints, but they're 5-1 off losses this season and have not lost 2 straight games since the first 2 weeks of the season. So, we talked about this one on the show earlier in the week, the best early bets show. And I wanted the Panthers then, and I still think they're a good bet getting 3 points. Yeah. The Buccaneers have not been able to get out of their own way. And I know they've had a little bit of extra rest, but they've had extra rest coming off just a horrible loss to the Falcons, where Kirk Cousins threw for 373 yards and 3 touchdowns against them. And Bryce Young might be able to dice up this pass defense. The Falcons didn't even have Drake London in that game, and Kirk Cousins still carved up that D. They've given up an average of 29.3 points over their last 6 games and almost 400 yards a game over that stretch. So just too many problems for this Tampa Bay defense right now. They can do okay stopping the run, but they blitz a lot. The blitz hasn't been getting home, and that secondary has just been completely laid bare. That is just not a good pass defense.
Bucks are 0-6 over their last 6 games ATS. They haven't lost 7 straight against the number since 82-83 when they lost 8 games in a row. So they are quote unquote due. The Panthers at home have been a much different football team than on the road, and the Panthers as a dog this year, they're 7-5 straight up as dogs. It's pretty good. They're 0-2 straight up as favorites here. And look, they have some extra rest here, but Baker on extended rest, 11-5 ATS, including 1-2 this year. Todd Bowles has not been much better on extended rest, 12-17-1 against the spread for Todd Bowles. So this is Panthers +3, but I'm going to tease it up in case I'm wrong. I don't think the Bucs win the game by more than a touchdown. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Bucs from 3 to 9. It's an NFC South teaser. We're going Saints, 0.5 point. Panthers +9 here. I think both those teams have a good shot of winning their games outright. So I'm not sure we need the points, but to give ourselves just a little bit of a cushion there, Saints, Panthers teaser for me for this week here on Sunday. We move to Kansas City on the road against the Titans. Here we go, Gardner Minshew. What are you going to look like as you are a 3.5 point favorite against the Titans? Am I wrong to like the Titans today? I'm not betting it, but I like the Titans today.
I don't know if you are. I'm not betting either. The Chiefs have so many. I think there's a chance Gardner Minshew could look good against this Titans pass defense, which makes a lot of teams look good. And I think Gardner Minshew is going to have to fling it because the Titans can be pretty good against the run when they have all their people. And they do have all their people for this one. So I think it's going to be tough for the Chiefs to do anything on the ground against Tennessee. You can throw all day on the Titans if you have protection, and that's the issue. The Chiefs are really, their offensive line is just torn to ribbons, and they don't have Rashee Rice for this one. So that's my concern. If the offensive line can't keep the pass rush away from Gardner Minshew, this could look pretty ugly for the Chiefs offense, and not what we're used to out of the Chiefs in late December.
I mean, the Chiefs are eliminated. They're on the road. They have a backup quarterback. Like, what are they playing for? We know that the announcement, I mean, people are already asking Travis Kelce and his brother about retirement. I mean, when we're talking, we've already seen when on their podcast, on the New Heights podcast, we've already seen Travis Kelce talk about the Chiefs will get Patrick Mahomes ready. Not we. The Chiefs, he's already psychologically talking about them in the third party, that he's not a part of the franchise anymore. So, you know, in that locker room, they all know what this is. This is just play the string out. Do they care? No. For the Titans, look, they don't need a top 5 pick, right? They have Cam Ward. They have their quarterback. They're going to get a top 10 pick easy. Even with a win today, they would get a top 5 pick most likely. So they're going to get their chance to add more talent around Cam Ward. They want to go play. They want to win. They're at home. It's December. A chance for your fan base to come out of there feeling good about beating the team that has been dominant over the AFC. I like the home dog here. I like Cam Ward. I like +3.5. I think once I got over 3, take the 3.5 with the home dog for the Titans today against the Chiefs.
Yeah, and as Insight is saying in our chat, the Titans offense has kind of quietly improved recently. I think Cam Ward's thrown 2 touchdown passes in each of the last 2 games. We saw Tony Pollard look like Earl Campbell against the Browns a couple of weeks ago, and then he had another good game last week. So maybe there is a little something here with this offense. So yeah, it just doesn't seem like the unmotivated Chiefs should be a road favorite against anyone right now.
Chargers and Dallas. I was really hoping that the Eagles were going to lose that game yesterday. I thought if Marcus Mariota stayed healthy, I thought there was a real good chance that we could see a win for the Commanders against the Eagles. And then this game would have been a Dallas bet for me. I would have bet Dallas in 2 seconds. Now, no way. They're eliminated. You've got a Charger team that absolutely is playing for a ton. The Cowboys are favored, but the number was 2.5. It is now 1.5 and falling. The total is going up from 48.5. We are all the way to 50.5 here. Chargers offensive line still banged up. Obviously, the hand is not healthy still for Justin Herbert, but you can't back the Cowboys today, can you?
No. I don't really like either side of this, and I'm kind of surprised the Chargers are still getting points. Like after the Cowboys lost their motivation, I thought this would go down to close to a pick 'em. So I am interested in the total here, though, Matt. And I feel like there are two different gravitational pulls working on this total. You've got the Cowboys wanting to take this up. The Cowboys have been an over machine. The average total in a Dallas game this season has been 59.1 points. So makes the over seem like a value at 50.5, right?
Yep.
But ever since Joe Alt went on injured reserve and the Chargers lost their ability to protect Justin Herbert, they're averaging 20 points a game. And all of the Chargers games over that span, 5 games, have come in at 45 or fewer points. So their gravitational pull is pulling this game under, I think. And, on the other side of the ball, you've got a Charger defense that's number 1 in opponent passer rating. Their pass defense is really tough. So if anyone can slow down Dak and CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, it might be the Chargers. And, the Chargers unable to protect Justin Herbert, so they're running it more, which makes for, grinds games to a halt and makes things go a little faster, and the clock keeps rolling. So I do like the under here quite a bit. The Dallas defense, not as much of a pushover now with Quinnen Williams, and I think Quinnen is playing today.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like the under here, but I'm not touching either side on this one.
So in the chat, Jordan Dixon Reed talked about, he said he took the under 49.5 for the Chargers and the Cowboys. I will be in New Hampshire for the next 2 weeks, for week 16 and week 17, week 18. And in New Hampshire, I always marvel at what you guys get to do outside of Nevada. So if I were you, Williams is out. Thank you, Insight. Appreciate that. Okay. So he's out. What I would do is I would buy out of that. And then I'd go back and I'd bet the under 50.5. Like, you have better numbers in the marketplace. In Vegas, if you tried to do that, they would laugh at you. They would say, yeah, right. But you guys who are in other markets where you have the buyout option, I would do that. Get out of the bet, go back and rebet it at 50.5, because those are key numbers when it comes to totals, with 50, 51, 52, and 53. Even 54 at times can be a key number as well. So if you have that option, I would do that. If you've already gone with the under 49.5, this number is climbing. The pros are betting this over at the moment, and you could get 50.5, and that's obviously a better market. You can get 51. Here in Vegas, we've hit 51. So you may want to just watch and see how high this thing goes, but it's one-way action at the moment, all in the over. So if you do like the under in the game, just hang out for, 15, 20 minutes. Let's see what the number gets to, but you may get a 51. If you've already bet under, I would get out of it. So I would bet out of that and then go ahead and take under 51. That's obviously a better number than 49.5, but I think the under probably is to play in this game, given the Chargers and their lack of explosivity. One more game in the early slate. The afternoon slate's wild. Let's talk about the game that was supposed to be on Sunday night. That's Miami and Cincinnati. On Tuesday, Pat, we were talking about this number for the Bengals, and we were kind of scratching our heads a bit going, okay, wait a minute. They're 4-point road favorites. Well, since the number's down to 3.5 for Cincinnati, the total is down to 47.5 or 48, depending on the book. These two teams are playing for nothing. What do you make of Miami being a home dog today?
I guess it all depends on what we make of Quinn Ewers, Matt.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I think obviously this line is being heavily influenced by the quarterback change in Miami, and a lot of people obviously believe that Quinn Ewers is going to be a train wreck, and maybe he will be, because he certainly did not get the best of reputations in his final season at Texas. And the thing is, though, he can be okay if he has time to throw.
Right.
And will the Bengals be able to pressure him? It's possible the Bengals cannot get any pressure on him, and he looks like a competent quarterback. Although, as Debro pointed out to me earlier this week, the Bengals' pressure rate has actually increased a little bit lately. Still though, I can't take the Dolphins as a home dog with Quinn Ewers at quarterback, and I don't really want to lay the points with the Bengals either, considering that Joe Burrow was just shut out. So, yeah, this one's a stay away for me.
The only play I'd make is the under. Bengals Dolphins last 8 meetings since 2010, 7-1 to the under. So I think when you have a quarterback making his debut, we've seen that so far this year, Brady, Cook, etc. They don't score. Like the game is not going the way that it was in college. It takes some time to adapt. Defenses pin their ears back, and yes, Achane and company can run the football, and that's what Miami's going to look to do is run the football. Well, the Bengals know that, and the Bengals' running defense is not great, but they know that. And look, there's a lot of smoke around this Joe Burrow being very unhappy and not wanting to be part of the Bengals going forward. There's a lot of thoughts that Zach Taylor is going to get fired at the end of the year, even with 1 year left on his contract, that they're going to make some pretty big changes. You're on the road. Game doesn't matter. I could easily see the under being the best way of attacking this at 48.5. As we mentioned, it's been pretty 49.5. It opened. It's down to 47.5 at FanDuel at the moment, but you can get 48s pretty regularly in the market. I think under is the best way of approaching this game.
Yeah, I buy that. I mean, as Insight is saying in the chat, the Bengals passing game with T. Higgins, like they're different with T. Higgins. That passing game in the offense generally just more efficient, but I still think the under looks pretty good to me here, because I just don't. What's Miami going to score with Quinn Ewers? Right. Are they going to get to? Maybe they can against this Bengals defense if they just let Achane go berserk and he runs for almost 200 yards, and he could against this Bengals defense. But I would think you're going to need something out of Quinn Ewers to get this game over, and I don't know if we get it.
I would totally agree with that. Guys, this podcast, this live stream being brought to you by our friends at Hard Rock Bet. Want to know where to bet on sports during the holiday season? It's Hard Rock Bet. You guys have probably heard us talk about this brand new For You page that they currently have available, but that's where you guys can go. It'll recommend plays based on your favorite teams. You can open up the app, go to the For You page. You can see what they like, and you can also sign up and place a $5 bet on any game. And if it wins, you get the winnings plus $150 in bonus bets. Hard Rock Bet, new promos every single day. So check it out. Download the Hard Rock Bet app and make your first deposit today. We go to the afternoon slate where there are some very interesting games. Atlanta on the road against Arizona. This is the game that the last game that fell off my card was the over in this game. Jacoby Brissett has been an over machine quarterback. This number's down to 2.5, but the total is up to 48.5 from 44.5. You like a side in Falcons Cardinals?
I kind of like the Cardinals here, and okay. I kind of like the over, but I haven't been able to bring myself to bet either of those things yet. And does it seem to you, Matt, like the Falcons are being slightly overvalued based on that road win against the Buccaneers in week 15? Yes. Yeah, it does to me too, because I think Jacoby Brissett is a better quarterback than Kirk Cousins. And, obviously I don't know what kind of home field advantage the Cardinals are going to have, but the only thing that terrifies me is that this Cardinals running game has been trash lately, and I don't know if they can stop Bijan Robinson.
Right.
That's what kind of horrifies me. I mean, we saw the Rams run all over them a couple of weeks ago. We saw the Texans have some success against them in the running game last week, and it's not like the Texans have a very good running game. So that is my fear here, that we could see Bijan Robinson go berserk today, and that is what kind of carries the day for the Falcons.
Yeah, it's the pass rush for the Falcons that worries me a little bit, to be quite honest, for betting the over. It's why I didn't like it, because I'm just not entirely sure that Jacoby Brissett's going to have a ton of time. And when you can pressure Jacoby Brissett, it's when he really gets antsy. That he got off to a very hot start in his first 3 starts for the Cardinals. And since things really, especially in the first half, things have not gone well for Jacoby Brissett. So that's my only concern. But if we get strip sack, fumble return, those types of situations, that leads to more points. So for me, it depends on how my early games go. If I do well early, like if I nail the Saints and the Jets game, I will be on the over in this game. I'll come back and bet it. But going in, it's not a pre-flop bet at the moment for me on this. I don't know who wins. I don't really care. I just think we see points here, although I'm with you on the Kirk Cousins situation and going, okay, how good is this offense? But Kirk Cousins, I will say this, he's playing for his job, right? I mean, he can justify being the starting quarterback next year if he continues to produce at the level he's been producing. He could be the guy for the Falcons next year.
Possibly. Boy, I would not want to roll into the season with him as
you want Michael Penix? They have 2 choices.
Yeah, I would rather Penix than Cousins.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh
How
my.
how many times can you watch Kirk Cousins throw short of the sticks on third down? Like that
Right.
that will drive any fan berserk. And I just yeah, I would rather have Penix. I think there's more upside there.
Okay.
But one more
Yeah.
thing, your point about the over and the Falcons pass rush.
Yeah.
Really banged up offensive line too for the Cardinals, especially not having Paris Johnson, their left tackle. Like that could be a big problem. So that is the fear with Jacoby Brissett that, you know, as you said, Matt, he doesn't get the time to throw, and that would be a big problem.
Right. 48 is the current consensus number from a total perspective for that game. So that's if neither one of us are betting it, but I do if you I have a lean on it with the Falcons and the Cardinals over. I am taking the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road against Denver. I'm going to go against everyone's public thought. I'm going to fade the team that's won 11 straight because yes, I am playing they are due factor, but it's the defense for the Jaguars that I am going and saying that I'm not sure the Denver Broncos can run the football today. And if you can't run the football and it's all on Bo Nix, I know he's coming off of the best game he's had as a pro, 300 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, no picks. He was no sacks. He was great last week. However, I think people are sleeping a bit on this Jaguar team, and I think this might be the day, the game, and the time the Jaguars will announce themselves as a legitimate threat to make it to the Super Bowl here with Trevor Lawrence, with this offense, but more importantly, with this defense. Once I got the hook, I took the 3.5. I'll take the Jags plus 3.5. Where are you on Broncos hosting the Jags?
Not betting it. Don't hate your bet. I feel like I still don't have a handle on how good the Jaguars are, and we are in week 16, Matt.
Yeah.
That's it. But they are sort of starting to convince me. For a while, I kind of thought they were a 500 team masquerading as a winning team. Does the total seem high to you, or does it seem right?
It's high because of the weather. It's going to be nice in Denver today.
Yeah.
There's no word. So this was a snowy, cold, windy, nasty day. 100% you ride with Denver. This is not going to be a difficult environment for the Jaguars to walk into. It's not going to be balmy like, Jacksonville, Florida, but it's nothing compared to what it normally would be at this time of the year in Denver. That's why the total is high. And with the total being that high, that factors into the Jaguars. They are a much better team. When the total is high, this team's hard to beat.
Yeah. Although if this game goes over, I feel like it's got to be the Broncos pushing it over, right? Because the Broncos are going to have a hard time running against the Jaguars. They're
Yes.
going to through the air.
Yes.
So, but then again, do we expect Nick's probably played one of the best games of his career against the Packers.
The best game.
He was
the best game.
fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah. Like that was not a bad day for the Packer defense. They defended well, but he was just throwing absolute BBs.
Yep.
And do we think Bo Nix has 2 straight games like that in him? That's the question. And
I don't.
You don't. Yeah.
I do not. No, I do not. If you look at, if you want to play this a different way, the Jaguars are 11-3 to the over for their team total. That's tied now. The Bears went over their team total yesterday, so the Bears are 12-3. But you've got a 11-3 Jags team and they've gone over their team total in all 6 games on the road so far this year. So that's one way of attacking this team if you want it. Jaguars team total over. The Jags defense is allowing just 86.3 yards per game on the ground. That's the fewest in the NFL by over 3 yards. Like they aren't just good against the run. They're unbelievable against the run. They're 5th in rush EPA. They're 2nd in rush success rate allowed. And Bo Nix has been great. Okay. Great as a home favorite. Like if you want to go the other side, 16-1 straight up as a favorite in his career. He's not that great. 6-9 straight up as a dog, but he's great as a home favorite. I just think the Jags can lose this game by 3. I like the hook in this. This could be Denver by 3, and then we wind up cashing with the hook. So once that crossed 3, I took the Jags there, but I can't wait to watch this game. To me, this is the game of the day, and no one's been talking about it, and I'm kind of annoyed at the public and the media for not hyping this game up more. I know the Broncos have won 11 straight. I know they're at home. I know Jacksonville's a small market, and Trevor Lawrence, nobody buys this. But this is, for the Jags, this could be for the 1 seed. If things fall, they're not out of it from a 1 seed perspective, and they're completely not out of it for a 2 seed perspective in the playoffs. So this is a huge game for the Jaguars. So looking forward to watching this game a lot with Jaguars. I'll take the points. Give me Jacksonville plus 3.5. And then the other game, 2 more to get to. Las Vegas on the road against Houston. This number was 14.5. There's been some professional buyback this morning on the Raiders to drop this thing from 14.5 to 14. You got to tell me, Pat, because I don't know how many points you'd have to give me to take the Raiders. I think it would be 17 to 20. 14 is not enough for me to take the Raiders. This is Houston or nothing. This is under. I think you're going to see, and it is Geno Smith. Geno's back. Their team total is set at 10.5 or 9.5, depending on where you are. The Raiders are the worst in the NFL to their team total. They're 4-10 to the under or to the over. So 10-4 to the under for their team total. This is a rout. No,
it's hard to figure out where the points are going to come from for the Raiders. The Texans have the best defense in the NFL. I don't think there's any question about that. And the Raiders, as we have seen, have had one of the worst offenses in the NFL. So it's just
lines, worst offensive lines in the NFL on top of that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm always nervous about betting a 2-touchdown favorite in a game with a total under 40. So that scares me and makes me think the back door might be open here late in this game. But I'm not betting it, but I couldn't bet it any other way but with the Texans.
Historically speaking, this is the first game with a spread of 14 or more with a total of 38 or less since the Broncos and the Saints back in 2020. That spread was 17 with a total of 36.5. The Raiders will be the first team to be underdogs of 12.5 or more with a total of 38 or less in the same season since the 2011 Rams. The Raiders haven't closed as 14.5 point dogs or higher since 2018. If it does get up to 15, but I don't think it will, but if it did, it would be the first time since 2014. The Raiders have lost 8 consecutive games outright. They're now double-digit dogs in consecutive games. And here's the reason why the pros are taking the Raiders. Teams listed as double-digit dogs in consecutive games this year are 3-0 against the spread. And since 2003, they are 72, 44, and 3 ATS. There is some pride. Unless it's the Raiders, because they are the worst team in the NFL. I've been saying this for over a month now. They are worse than anyone else, both offensively and defensively. There is not much to look forward to if you are a Raider fan. You don't have a quarterback. You don't have an offensive line. You have a running back. Okay. You have a tight end. Okay. And you have a defensive lineman. And that's it. Like, this roster is devoid of talent. And now this roster not only is devoid of talent, this roster is blown to pieces with injuries. The offensive line can't block anybody. They can't run the football, nor do they try to run the football. Team total under for the Raiders. Game under. Lay the 14 points.
You have had your finger on the pulse of the Raiders for a while, Matt, and you have not found a pulse. And
no,
I tend to agree with you.
Flatline. It's been a damn flatline, solid beep sound. Just like down, like they've been dead, and they really should be the ones that get the 1 pick. And that's what I'm wondering. If the Giants win today, the Raiders are losing. The Raiders are going to have the odds on, inside track to get to the number 1 pick in the draft. And that's what everybody here in Vegas is hoping for. They also want a new quarterback, and they also want a new head coach. So you don't like the turnstile nature of what we've seen, but it's the Raiders. It's what they've done. And Tom Brady has offered zero stability. It was Tom Brady's pick to bring in Chip Kelly. It was Tom Brady's pick to pay Chip Kelly. I like Chip Kelly. I'm a Boston guy. Chip Kelly's a New England guy. Brady, he's from California, but he's still a New England guy. There's a lot of connections there. He was an absolute disaster. He was the highest paid OC in football, and they couldn't score. So now you have this complete rebuild starting. And do you want this current coaching staff to be the ones that do it?
No,
you don't. So, like, that's the tough part. And I know, Roger, I know Geno's back. Geno Smith's back. I get it. He's playing. And so it's not Kenny Pickett, who's god awful, but Geno has thrown 14 picks this year. Okay. Yes, we've all knocked Tua, who got benched. Tua threw 15 picks. Geno's got 14. He's right behind him. So, like, I don't know how much of a benefit you get from getting Geno Smith coming back behind that offensive line that's so poor. So, I'm not. This is going to get ugly. If the Raiders are in the game in the fourth quarter, I'll be stunned. I haven't bet it yet. I'm just going to sit back and go, all right, let's see what happens. Maybe in game it, but this is team total under for the Raiders. I can't see them scoring. And we're watching people are betting the over in the game, which is surprising. So the team total now is up to 12.5 at Hard Rock for Vegas. Wow. That's a benefit right there. It was 10.5 during the week. Now it's 12.5. So, okay, that's a benefit there. And that's one of those like kind of micro markets that people don't pay attention to all that much, that when the total goes up, that means team total's got to rise. And so the team total going up to 12.5 for the Raiders, I may find my way to that window bet before we get done here today. Once we get through the early part of the schedule here, that's interesting. Guys, track these bets and get line alerts straight to your phone by downloading the BettingPros app with Sportsbook Sync. You can automatically track bets across all major sportsbooks all in one spot. You can easily monitor your bet by sport and bet type, including picks, props, and parlays. Create betting systems to find winning trends and profitable opportunities. And new users can get 6 months of BettingPros Premium for free with your first deposit and wager at one of our partner sportsbooks. To learn more about how to get BettingPros Premium, log on to bettingpros.com/premium. All right, we go to my team. Sunday night, Patriots, Ravens. Professionals are steaming the Ravens. 2.5, 3, 3.5. There's not been much resistance in the market. Nobody wants to take the Patriots, and mainly because of the topic that no one is bringing up with New England. The Patriots can lose this game and still win the division. If they tie with Buffalo, as of right now, point differential and tiebreakers come into play, the Patriots would win the tiebreaker against the Bills if they were to lose this game. Now, that means Buffalo wins out, the Patriots lose this game, and then win the next two against the Jets and the Dolphins. Here is my theory. Mike Vrabel's been so good off of a loss, and the Patriots are facing one of the worst pass defenses in football. They don't want to leave it up to those games, Pat. They don't want to be worrying about games against divisional teams coming to town that could really knock them back into the bracket. This would be a disaster for the Patriots after leading the like the Patriots to give maximum effort here today, and I don't like that defense for the Ravens. Yes, they're banged up defensively. Yes, Derrick Henry could have a monster game running the football, but I'll take the hook here. Pat's plus 3.5. Where are you?
I'm with you. They've been road warriors this year, Matt. 6-0 straight up, 5-1 against the spread. And the Ravens 3-5 straight up at home, 2-6 against the spread. So I think the Ravens win over the Bengals and having it be a shutout win has sort of given people the illusion that the Ravens have hammered the wheels back on here. And I don't know if I really believe that just yet. So I'm with you on the Pats.
Lamar Jackson has been ridiculous late in the year. In weeks 15 to 18, Lamar Jackson is 16-0 straight up. That's dumb. He's never lost a game. That's the best mark in the history of the league. No one's ever done that. No one's ever done that. So are we due? You got to lose sometime.
Lamar hasn't been Lamar though for a while. It seems like he's getting closer to the old Lamar, or at least looked like it last week, but I still don't think this is the same. Things have not gone as smoothly for this offense this year.
Nope.
But the thing is, do you think they can, with no Spillane at linebacker for the Patriots, do you think Derrick Henry can just run all over this team?
They might, but here's my thought on that. If I want to have anyone come up with a scheme to stop Derrick Henry, it's Mike Vrabel, like his former head coach. The guy who knows him well, the guy who that was his offense. He built his whole team around Derrick Henry in Tennessee. He had Ryan Tannehill at quarterback. It was all Derrick Henry. So Mike Vrabel is going to be well aware as to what types of schemes are going to be run against this Patriots defense. And I'm going to bank on the Patriots head coach to coach up the defense well enough to show the film from the James Cook second half to not allow that to happen again, and say, look at Lamar beat us throwing the football. And can Lamar do that? Of course Lamar can do that. But I think that's the Patriots game plan. Is like, you know what? That's why I think the over is a good look in this game. I think this game is going to be high scoring. And I think the Patriots and the Ravens both trade scores. But I think the Patriots will try to focus on the run to stop Derrick Henry. Because obviously that would be, if I was the Ravens, right, after what James Cook did last week, you would say, okay, ride Derrick Henry. Like, go ahead and see what he's capable of doing and feed the rock to him.
Yeah.
So and Lamar might, and is he healthy? It's the other thing, because Lamar's not running the way he used to. So him dropping back, he's not a statue back there, but he's not the same quarterback that he once was running the football. Guys, one more reminder that you guys can score 6 months of BettingPros Premium for free. Just make a deposit and place a wager at a partner sports booking. With Premium, you get sharp AI, you get the betting systems, the prop bet cheat sheet, the same game parlay builder, and more. All the tools you need to bet smarter. Claim your upgrade now at bettingpros.com/premium. All right, Pat, let's give your full card for today, including your prop bets you like.
Did we hit Lions Steelers, Matt?
Oh, I think we forgot about Lions Steelers. Thank you. Whoa, I skipped over. That's my fault. My bad.
No worries.
Wow, because that's my hard rock play of the day. That's why I was holding it back. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm on the Lions -7, hard rock play of the day. This is just a follow the trend bet for me. Pittsburgh's not going to Detroit and winning, are they?
I don't think so. I haven't bet this one yet, but if I were going to bet it, I would bet the Lions. Like, the only thing that scares me is it the classic Mike Tomlin upset spot where
no, because he's bad as a 7-point dog. Mike Tomlin actually is bad as a 7-point dog. His record 7 points or more. He's 3-15 straight up, 7-10-1 against the spread. Aaron Rodgers is a 7-point more dog, is 0-6 straight up and 4-2 against the spread.
So the other thing is that the Lions secondary is really banged up. But is Aaron Rodgers the guy who can take advantage of a banged up secondary? Because that requires. You think so?
Over. Yeah, this is a shootout. This is a high scoring game, but I think the pass rush for Pittsburgh, no TJ Watt, not having the same type of punch that they would have on the road against. This is Jared Goff in a warm blanket. You know, this is his comfort zone. Like, he feels completely comfortable in this building. This is when they throw big numbers up on the board and they score like 35 points against this defense here. That's why I think it's a high scoring game, but I like the Lions to score a ton.
Yeah, and no Nick Herbig either. The Steelers pass rush is really going to be toothless in this game. So I think we could see that. I don't know if Rodgers is going to stand in there and deliver, though, because you need to buy your receivers a little time to get open against this terrible secondary for the Lions.
Right.
But yeah, now the more I talk myself into this, I think I want to go bet the Lions before kicking.
That's why I bet it. I bet it already. It's my hard rock bet of the day from the Daily Juice. This is I like the Lions a lot here to lay the 7, and I think they run the ball. I think they move the ball. High scoring team total. Lions over is another way of approaching this game if you would like, but I like Campbell and company to get right here against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Short week as well. Everyone loving on them after the win on Monday night. Yeah, I like the Lions -7 today on this. All right, now your card for today.
All right, let's go to the best spread bets. We've talked about the Patriots. I've liked them all week. I think this is going to go their way, or at least they're going to be able to keep this within a field goal. Bills over the Browns, who just can't stop the run and can't run the ball, which seems to favor the Bills, who just want to beat you on the ground. Panthers over the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers defense has just been terrible lately, and the Panthers have been surprisingly plucky this year, have not lost 2 in a row since the first 2 weeks of the season. We've talked about how much we mutually like the Saints, Matt, against a Jets team that's just kind of buried and has given up here. And the Saints have not. They've won their last 2, 3 of their last 5. I like them here. I like the Chargers to pull this game under against the Cowboys. Just because of the way they've been playing and how ineffective their passing game has been with the offensive line problems, and their pass defense has been really good. For props, I like Tony Pollard over 57.5 rushing yards. The guy's been on a heater. 168 yards or 161 against the Browns in week 14, 104 against the 49ers. Last week, 6.6 yards per carry over his last 3 games. And by the way, Tony Pollard earns a $250,000 bonus if he can get to 1,100 rushing yards.
Oh, wow.
Needs 253 more with 3 left to play. So, and the Chiefs normally tough against the run, but again, nothing left to play for. Jackson Dart, look, this is a -240 bet. Jackson Dart. I don't like betting those sorts of, making those sorts of plays where you're laying a lot to win a little. But considering the Vikings have not given up a single touchdown pass in 5 straight games, asking Jackson Dart to throw 2 seems like a really tall order. So I like the under there. And Quinshon Judkins under 64.5 rushing yards. Look, he's been under 2 yards per carry for 2 straight games. He's missing 2 starting offensive linemen and has a bunch of other ones banged up. Since week 6, he's averaged 50.9 rushing yards per game. So even though the Bills' rushing defense kind of suspect, Browns' offensive line too banged up to take advantage. I'm betting the under here.
All right, for me, for my card here, some similar ones that we talked about. I like the Jaguars plus 3.5. The hook matters there for the Broncos. I like the Lions laying 7 against the Steelers. The Patriots number should be 3.5. Sorry, I should have corrected that. That's 3.5. I like the hook there for New England. I think it matters. If it does get bought back down to 3, I don't hate it. Pat likes 3. I want 3.5 in that game. Saints and the Jets, I like the under in that game at 40.5. Tyler Shuck is 5-1 to the under. Brady Cook, I don't think scores much against a pretty good Saints defense that's been playing hard recently. Saints Panthers is the teaser of the day. Saints down to a 0.5 point. Pat likes it full at 6.5. So we hopefully both cash there. And then the Panthers at plus 3 up to 9. If the Bucks do win, I don't think the Bucks win by more than a touchdown against the Panthers, who are at home. For the prop bet perspective, Pacheco over 44.5 rushing and receiving yards. With this offense looking the way it's going to with Gardner Minshew, I do think you're going to see a lot of dinking and dunking. Pacheco getting more targets than normal here, I expect in this one. Prop bet cheat sheet likes this as a 5-star play. I like Drake May to throw a ton here, over 238.5 passing yards against one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL. I think Drake May has a big bounce back spot tonight for the Patriots. And then Marvin Mims under 23.5 rushing and receiving yards for Denver up against that tough defense for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't think we're going to see a lot of movement here with this offense for Denver moving the football. So Marvin Mims under 23.5 rushing and receiving yards for today. All right, Pat, any closing thoughts as we wrap here for week 16?
I like your Mims bet. I piggyback that one. Plus Pat Bryant is going to play, and that just, it's probably means not a lot of snaps for Marvin Mims. He's always capable of hitting a big one, but I think he would probably have to hit that one big play to wreck that bet. So I like the odds there.
Yeah, 1 in 5 over the last 6, or 1 in 4 over the last 5 games for him to the over on that number. So he did hit it last week, but I think it's a good play, and the prop bet cheat sheet likes it as a 5-star play as well. Coming up on that, guys, remember, Pat and I are not on this week or next week for Tuesday because of the holiday season. We will be bringing back the Early Look podcast for the playoffs. So the next time you'll see us on Tuesday is coming up in the playoffs. Next time we'll see Pat here on the live stream will be also most likely, I don't know, week 19. I forget where you're scheduled. Week 18, maybe wild card weekend.
I believe it's wild card weekend, Matt.
Okay, so next time you'll see us together coming up, you'll see postseason football. It's amazing that we're already here. Guys, happy holidays. Thank you for watching. Best of luck on your plays. For Sal in the back, he's Pat Fitzmaurice. I'm Matt Perrault. Thank you for being here. We'll talk to you next week for another Week 17 live stream on the Betting Pros YouTube channel.